have a forum. Next item is approved minutes from May 14th meeting. I didn't have any correction with you. I know that we approved it.
Second.
All in favor? Any public comment? Anybody here for items not on the agenda? Okay. Items for discussion. The first one's the Activity 6 debt. So, Mike.
Yeah, kind of giving you a update on where we're at. There was a flurry of donations that came in over the last few days, so we now have $18,000 in our community fund.
Right.
The last report was $20,000 in the endowment fund. I don't know if that's grown. I haven't gotten any updates since last Friday. So they're well on their way. Based on that, we have enough to do the contract for the immediate restoration work. I've reached out to Merdad, who gave the proposal, to let him know the status and everything, and talk about the other donation lines. My understanding is there's folks that are going to donate the cost of the list, the hotel stays, and possibly the paint, although we need to get the paint specs from Merdad that he's going to use in the quantity. But if that being the case, even with the proposal, there's more than enough money in there to cover the work. So,
did they decide to go with the paint as opposed to polish?
the paint was the preferred method.
Yeah.
That was decided a couple of months ago. So it'll be the silver paint. It's the new Iowa livery.
Yeah, excellent. I like that. That was a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I assume we're still gonna have, so the motion, does that involve still us probably having a proposal or a proposed work to go through? Or this is just going out to go like firm it up?
This is just to firm up the immediate restoration
Okay.
work. We will still have a memo of understanding for like the long-term vision. And doesn't change kind of anything we've been talking about on that end, about the periodic meetings. And I didn't quite get as far along on it because I wanted to, I know I signed a real early draft.
Yeah, I know.
Folks.
I looked it over and I agree with Jennifer's point.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I thought.
So I want to touch that up a little bit before I disappear on vacation and send it around to folks again for a review. And then maybe next month we'll have a conversation on it. The other thing that, because it looks like we're on the path to having this thing be here for a while, again. We might, and to capture kind of the willingness of folks to continue to donate pieces of that and the conversations that have sprung up about making it a little bit more accessible and a little bit more of a, lack of a better word, park. Developing some type of site plan to have the ability to piecemeal stuff off. And like somebody wants to donate $5,000 for the sidewalk, great, here you go, build the sidewalk. Somebody wants to build, the three stall parking lot, little place to park cars right there. Sure, here's $15,000. That's what it's going to take. Build a little parking lot, that kind of stuff. And we've talked about some lighting and other things. So
you looked into that.
Yeah,
it's harder.
It is hard. Van Meter has reached out to the group, and there might be some services possible there that needs to get fleshed out. But I did reach out to Adam in terms of developing a site plan, and he came back with some pricing on some kind of stepping levels of how intense we wanted to get. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, and that's also what Michael's here for too. If there's deeper questions, Michael is a landscape architect amongst other things, and he's excited about the opportunity to work on this project. But a couple of things that we laid out, that kind of a step one or phase one approach to it would be just a professional desktop look at it, like if kind of in a vacuum, this is what Michael would suggest for laying out a pocket park in this area. Sidewalks, lighting, an area for plantings, area for expanded memorial in the future. Just kind of a real light concept to give some direction with it. Kind of the next step to that in a phase two, if you wanted to go that far with it is getting, putting it in front of you guys, put it in front of the veterans group, getting feedback on that, and then updating the concept with more detail and more guidance on a memorial, landscaping, things like that. And then the third phase to it, the final phase beyond that would be if we wanted to produce like 3D renderings or some animation or something like that to provide that next level. It could be used for like fundraising or things like that to take it a step further. We're just doing, say, phase one. We were about $2,500 to do that. To do phase one, phase two, we were about 10 grand total. And then for all of it, including the 3D renderings, we're about $16,000 to produce that.
I guess for me, I think it'd be something good to revisit once we get things settled with the veterans group and maybe even post first kind of pass at the jet to get it painted and everything. I mean, unless we want to meet with them and have that discussion sooner, but
I mean, there's some probably some will to do it sooner or for not losing the momentum of fundraising. Folks that have already contributed and had these ideas to get them kind of on paper and in the hopper, so to speak. So they feel like they've said it, nobody's listened to them, nothing's happening, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to, because I guess I just don't want to make any.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a fine idea to me, but I'm also kind of the view that like, or the community's funding it, so I don't want to really make any decisions unless we have somebody or have folks that can speak for that money. So
Yeah,
Basically, you want it to be more collaborative.
yeah, I mean, not that I don't think it's a good idea, but I don't want it's not my money and I don't view it as like the airport's money.
I
So,
agree.
And
If we could offer to them, would they like us
Yeah,
to
yeah,
explore a
yeah.
design,
Yeah.
potential design?
with the doing this for fixing the plane, are they also? Does it include raising up or doing anything? Touching the plaque?
Yes, part of this will, somebody will come in and clean up the plaque and what we're talking about right now is relocating the rock from where it is now, where it's kind of surrounded by the plant life that's over there and putting it more in line probably with the left wing. So as you approach the airplane, typically from that side, you can see the rock. It may, because it's small, it may get put on something else like some.
But that's part of this initial part.
But yeah, that's gonna be part of this initial stuff that happens.
It needs to be elevated.
Yeah, it just needs to be elevated.
Something.
And then, city had been doing the plantings and stuff around it, so.
The city has been taking care of the, call it the native grasses that are out there, that row of stuff. And then we've been mowing around all of that.
So is there any way just to go ahead and have that all be mowed so you can actually see stuff too? Or is that city have to be involved with the whole group again?
I mean, we can take it over and say, we're just gonna put it back to grass and mow it.
Or does that still need to be part of their group deciding what they want?
I don't think that part necessarily. The part that I think triggers it for me is spending money.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't. If it's spending money that we are, even though like it's a collaborative community fund, I don't want to speak for the money.
Right.
It's not,
So, but
it's not in scope. It's not in
Yeah.
scope of what we originally discussed. That's changing the terms and we need to get there by.
I mean, I would be of the opinion to leave for now the grasses and stuff just leave be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cutting them lower.
or well, I mean, I don't. If the city's cutting them or whatever, I'd let them do it. But
Aren't we still doing that, or is the city actually doing it?
Parks and Rec takes care of the strips.
Oh, okay.
Well, basically, they just mow them in the fall
Yeah.
or spring,
sure.
And ignore it the rest of the time.
and then ignore it the rest of the year. We go out there and we'll pull the weeds that are taller than everything else.
You're having to take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just assume let the current
Okay.
arrangement
Stay
be.
until,
Well, that way we don't like get crazy because if we're gonna decide to go this route to do some studies, then I would just be like, well, let's
add that part.
let it be, and then we can, if we're gonna tear it up, then we'll tear it up, and if we're not, then we can, I don't know, maybe have a
Yeah.
conversation at that point
Okay.
It's not hurting you being there, and if we're
Yeah.
gonna destroy it to make room for some partners, then.
There's a
we'll
very
approach
big
it that way.
groundhog over there that I saw, so I think he'd prefer us.
There's a dozen of them.
Yeah, there's
A lot of
big suckers over there. So they like hang out on that side, yeah. But
I think they chose what they chose out there. Just a side note, because there's not water to water it and stuff like that. So they got just
Yeah, whatever.
prairie grasses or something.
Yeah, it's stuff that's meant to naturally grow and
Hmm.
it's not tall.
It looks dramatically better than it did 10 years ago. With all the arborvitae trees and the big burning bushes and everything, you couldn't see the airplane.
Wow. Yeah.
That's true. That was probably 10 years ago now.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good improvement over what it used to be.
Pretty soon they'll see more things as these trees out there are dying and you see more and more branches are coming down.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the weather.
So I will reach out to the group.
Yeah.
And just let them know that this is something that was brought up and we collectively we wanted to take a look at it.
I think the other thing I'd add is you don't need to decide from day one how far you want to go with it.
Sure.
It's definitely something like we could do the first phase of it, see what that looks like. Like
Yeah.
it can be added to as we go. So
So do we need for money that's I forget now, I know we've talked about it a million times. For money out of that fund, like if we're like seems like it's an idea and the veterans group is like seems like they are very interested in moving along with that. Can you just go ahead and move forward, or do we have to wait till the next meeting for us to vote on?
As far as the site plan work,
Yeah.
I would probably have that be some type of formal motion at the meeting.
Okay.
Just because it's a new topic we have to talk
Sure.
about.
Okay.
That way we're all on the same page about what the expectations are and what level of services we're asking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we have approval to withdraw funds for maintenance.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
was.
we've all agreed to,
And the Johnson County Community Fund knows the conditions. And
Yeah.
they will-
yeah, we've all agreed kind of independently that we're gonna coordinate the maintenance for using Aviana, the proposal that was given to us. And by conversations, the group essentially selected that they'd rather see the painted option versus the polished. And the Iowa livery paint scheme. So those are the things we're moving forward with, and then working with them for the components that folks said they would donate towards or provide the cost of.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we need a motion out there for you to coordinate.
That is correct. That's what I'm asking for.
I move that we authorize the airport manager to coordinate paint work for the F-86 jet with cost not to exceed $15,000.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Was there any other discussion?
For a timeline on the repair work, we're still looking September, October. My dad is putting a formal contract together that will spell out kind of all of the stuff. Give credit for the donated pieces that we're anticipating.
Right.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Airport construction project.
Threshold relocation, we're just waiting for the reels to come in. There should be, I believe it was the 24th was the date of. I gotta look at my notes because now I don't remember if that was ship date or arrival date of the reels. But one form or another, they should be in transit by the 24th. The plan is hopefully as we get into the maintenance rehab with the runways closed, we'll sneak those guys in to do the swaps and get everything taken care of while everything else is being taken care of. So trying to kill two birds with one stone there. Pavement maintenance, this one, I know folks saw the email I sent out. We did meet with the contractor earlier this month to get a schedule. The schedule kind of surprised us a little bit too, where they swapped faces on us and wanted to start with 1230 and then go to the intersection and then finish with 725. The issue with that is it does put that closure of the whole runway and 725 in the week of Oshkosh. Ultimately, we get a lot of traffic the weekend before Oshkosh, so the runways will still be open. Then it gets sporadic during the week and then towards the weekend, the following weekend, which we should have runways open. We get more traffic. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, it's not.
I'm playing
it's not the
Thursday,
best.
so it better be good. Or I'm gonna tell them no to it open for 15 minutes.
Yeah. They got.
And I'm pretty sure we have many
I would
people
actually.
consider, yeah. So if we do have a situation where folks need to get out because it's joint sealing, things like that, we're not gonna have giant holes all over the place like if it was.
Well, I think ultimately, if things are going well, I expect in the first 2 weeks that Marner is going to get all of 1230 done, including the intersection. That they're going to crank all through that because they work on 2-week rotations where their team is gone from home for 2 weeks and then they take a break, go back home, and then remobilize and come back out. So I think there's a really good chance that they're going to get done with all of 1230. And then it'll be the weekend, and then we'll go into the 725 work kind of the next week when they get up and going again. So I think there's a really good chance for that. But again, the contract will tell you they need every single day, but there's a good chance that they're going to be hustling through.
Yep.
So, and the reason why they flopped the schedule is because of the real lights. They don't think they're going to be in when they start on day one, but they want to hit that window because that still is the best window for the airport and getting it done before football season and all those things. But by putting phase one last, the real light should be in.
And what days are they targeting for 725? They won't know until they get going.
Yeah, so right now,
Or for total closure, I should mean.
yeah, so right now the tentative 725 closure would start on July 20th. And we would have 3 days for complete airport closure. And then we'd have 5 days after that for just 725. And during that period of time, 1230 will be open.
Gotcha.
22 to 23.
Nice, helicopters can still come in.
Helicopters can still come in.
And people landing on the dirt.
Well, I mean, while the intersection is closed,
Oh, then it would work.
technically there's no one really getting in or out unless they can use the grass. Then they know
Even
about it.
then with
It
the runway
it would be,
closed.
I would say it's
Yeah.
probably not going to happen.
yeah. Because that's still not an official marked runway. It's
Yep. Yeah,
just allowing people to.
I mean, if someone did land in the grass, it wouldn't cause any issue for the work being done. But it's not something that I think the airport
it's not
should.
something
Not
that
ever.
Yeah.
Definitely. They can get.
yeah.
The other thing we're trying to hold that's the only reason we're trying to hold that schedule is we're doing internal projects while the airport's essentially closed. So we're gonna do flooring, painting, and some other stuff, and painting to the week leading up to it. Flooring is scheduled for that week to get in, while we're shut down, and furniture will be in office.
So officially on paper, the airport will be closed on the 23rd, effectively.
Yep.
Can
And
you
then-
20th, 21st, 22nd. Is that what you
20,
Yep.
22.
But there's a really we'll know by the end of the first full week in July what the schedule is really going to look like. There's a really good chance that the airport could be both runways closed by like 15.
When is off?
Oh, so they'd move the whole
week
project
the
up.
20th,
If everything gets fixed up.
Gotcha.
So that's what we're looking for is they get
right in the middle of the.
all of 1230 in the intersection done in that first week. So
And 725 or
no, then the next week they would come back and finish
The
that
next week,
25, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so you know,
Good.
I will personally ferry a 172 to Cedar Rapids so I can leave on Thursday. And I'll bring it back.
we'll probably move our stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll work with you because I want to get out on Thursday. So if it's closed, because we're meeting my parents. It's not for
I'm planning to go sometime then.
Yeah, so you may
Like coming at you.
reposition yourself. Yeah.
But we'll post something out to all the tenants or something like.
Yeah.
You said the first week of July, so I can make plans and
Yep.
Yeah, it's coming up fast.
it is going fast.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Anything else? I didn't have anything else for that. I would you grant project.
Wildlife mitigation study, just letting them finish up the data collection and then moving on to the report. So once we get that in 3 to 6 months, we'll figure out what it says and what action items it recommends and what we can handle. Maybe throw it into grant applications or parts of grant application.
So will they actually make recommendations on like actual things to do, or are they just like, hey, it's a bad idea to have a creek here?
No, they will make like recommendations for like, really you should fence
Okay.
this stuff, or it should, instead of barbed wire, like on the west side, it should be chain link fence.
So it'll be something to go with the grant, not just.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it probably will be, clean up the creek or
Yeah.
clear the trees out of the creek for animal, habitat. That'll probably be part of it. I don't know the full extent of what they're gonna recommend, because
Sure.
some of that stuff, like, they could recommend a whole bunch of things that are
Yeah.
just not practical.
Yeah.
Move the airport.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. I felt like we always talked about it.
Get the airport away from the river, away from the pond, and
Nesting area.
Drain the reservoir.
That's easy, just go for it.
Yeah.
sorry, John. But yeah, there will be some actionable items for recommendations in there, and what level of detail they go to, I guess I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But there will be things that we can do
Yeah.
to
Presumably,
help
gives us-
mitigate.
presumably it gives us further justification with
Yeah.
Yeah,
granting agencies like FAA, or maybe there's even.
Does it get in the way of other projects?
I don't think
Because
so.
they'd say, hey, we see this issue, it wouldn't, okay.
It's just how we prioritize our list of whatever we've got going on at the airport.
Well, question for you, Adam. Are there other, have you worked with airports that have done a wildlife survey like this? And are there other granting bodies outside of FAA, AIP, that kind of thing, like, I don't know, forestry? I'm thinking like some federal agency that might have grants besides.
There's really nothing else good for it, because the part of it, when you get into wildlife mitigation on airports, it gets very, very expensive too. So none of those other entities want to put their limited funds to something at an airport, because the costs are
Higher.
very high.
Okay.
Like, I'm still floored at how much it costs to put a fence up at an airport. It just feels like it shouldn't be that way, but it's everything on an airport's more expensive.
Okay. Airport operation.
Budget, we're in the last month of the budget. I did reach out to the painter for the door. They said they were overbooked and can't do it. They gave us a new name, reached out to them. They're supposed to take a look at it, haven't heard back from them. So it's still up there,
I'm trying.
but I am actively trying.
Thank you.
Other than that, the budget report, I think we're doing pretty well. I don't know of any big budget items that are coming up in the last few weeks, and I'm gonna be gone for half this month, so won't be.
Mike,
Mike, on the, since we're planning on painting and stuff like that,
Yep.
should we be buying any of those materials before the end of this budget cycle?
I mean, we should probably, it wouldn't hurt.
So that's like end of June.
Yeah.
July, so.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that. To try to decide what side of the line we're in.
With our budget, since we don't zero out, it just kind of keeps rolling. It's not
Oh,
a
okay,
critical issue, but
okay, sure.
management, I guess here's a good spot to say I will be on vacation from the 18th to the 28th. So if anything happens, Matt's going to be probably your first point of contact. I will be leaving the state and running away, so I will not be able to respond Sounds like a great. Other than that, I think that's all I've got for management.
Is it anywhere fun?
It's Texas. I had a couple of friends down there that recently moved and we kind of housewarming,
Nice.
hanging out.
18th through the 20th. So
Yeah. So next Thursday through the full next week and back on Sunday.
Enjoy.
Okay. Events calendar is updated. Have had some folks from the United Way reach out to do a community event at the airport. So we're starting those conversations and see where that goes. But other than that, nothing new there.
Mr. Mayor.
Sounds good. Don't have much for gender standpoint. One thing, I don't know if we have to. We talk about setting a different meeting for the hangar sale stuff.
That'll come up. Yeah.
Oh, and staff people. But that's one thing I'll mention too, so we've got the sales tax hangar sale thing to try to get pushed through with them. But we're excited about that. We'll go and work for that. Otherwise, airport maintenance wise, there's been a lot of mowing back to now. There's a lot of rain again. It was starting to be dry, but we had the company come out that does some spraying of fence lines and stuff like that, try to keep those things down. And then of course now rain and mowing. On Jenner's side, the flight training and charter and all that stuff's been really busy still, so that's good. Fuel prices are extremely volatile. Like in 1 week, it went down 60 cents a gallon. It's like, oh, we're gonna try to get fuel. Like we didn't have space for under load at that time, whatever, And so and it's actually at the moment it stayed down. That was 2 weeks ago or last week. So you gotta get loads to get into the system, but swings like that are gigantic from the standpoint of planning. But anyway, so other than that, usually fine. We don't see it around the country. The changes don't happen instantly. It's $9 a gallon. Some places still $9 a gallon. It will be until somebody really puts some pressure on them.
That's the best. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So cool. Any questions for me?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Member reports.
Probably had something on a lawsuit, so.
All right, well, staff report, Eric did want me to tell folks that we are working on the agreements. That there is a kind of a deadline that we're working with because on July 1st, if they're still privately owned, the tax liability is there, exists. So if we can get the sale transfer before the end of the month, then that should be resolved. So I need to poll folks to have possibly a special meeting on June 29th. Folks can be around, at least 3. Everybody's around, great. But the idea during that meeting would be to approve the purchase agreement, a short-term ground lease, and set a public hearing for a long-term ground lease. Because anything over 3 years needs a public hearing. So that'll be kind of the agenda for that. And take care of at least 2 of the hangars for liability. So, okay, I will let her know that is workable. Is there any particular time during that day that works better? Because I think is that Monday or Tuesday?
I could do I could do over the lunch hour. I could do like a 6 o'clock thing, like right now. But it just kind of depends. Morning's out, but
Lunch hour, that work for you?
Yeah,
Lunch hour
Hour before, after, about lunch hour or 6 o'clock, basically the 2.
yeah.
Okay. Let them know that. That'll give us a window because we'll have to post the agenda like normal, so that'll have to go out. Sometime while I'm gone. That's all I got for staff.
And that's July 9th.
Be here.
I'll be.
I will not. I will.
I will be.
The next meeting, just anticipate that it's our election of officers meeting, so I'll want to change officer positions.
President.
And if somebody is not here, you're more than welcome to nominate them for.
I'll do it. I'll do it. We'll turn this thing into- Yeah.
Year two.
A dynasty.
Okay, I guess I'll make a motion we adjourn.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.